before 8 o'clock. Now, Kim Harrisberg at Health E! News did an investigative insert about sugar daddies or blessers that are casually used. Those are the terms that are used, of course, in South Africa to describe older men who exchange material goods for sexual favors with younger girls. But on the other hand, activists and researchers are warning that these blessers are more like a curse, using these young girls' financial vulnerability as the gateway into the world of sex trafficking and exploitation. This insert interviews Cherly Tshabangu, an anti-trafficking activist in Krugersdorp, who is a trafficked survivor as well, and it also talks to Grizelda Grootboom as well as the SAPS on this crisis that young girls face here in South Africa. Now, Cheryl passed away last week, and this story is a tribute to her tireless work.
In South Africa, the word blesser is used to describe an older man who gifts a younger woman in exchange for sex, also known as a sugar daddy. For many economically vulnerable young girls, this is the only source of income and financial freedom. But activists are warning that normalizing the blesser means normalizing a gateway into sexual violence and also trafficking.
For us, when the whole blesser issue surfaced, it was more or less more interesting, because we had found out that most of these young people are lured, especially through social media. So that is where they are groomed to being lovers of these men. And at the end of it all, it gets to that point where they shower them with whatever that they need, your airtime, your phones, all the fancy things that they need. And once they are then groomed, they find a perfect time to then introduce them to drugs. And once they're introduced to drugs, most of them end up being in drug houses and brothels, and most of them end up disappearing.
Once young girls are tricked into trafficking, they go through what Shirley calls the initiation process, where they are kept in a dark room, repeatedly raped and injected with various drugs.
That is where then you are told that, remember when you came here, I'm the one who paid your transport, I'm the one who's currently paying for your food, I'm the one who's currently paying for your shelter, so you have to work for it.
This payback process is called debt bondage, whereby the girls are forced to pay back the traffickers for drugs through selling their bodies. Grizelda Grootboom is one of the few vocal sex trafficking survivors in South Africa, and she's passionate about the dangers of normalizing the blesser culture.
Now, the youngest boy in school is using the word blesser. And we're sugarcoating human trafficking, blesser. We're sugarcoating pimp, blesser. We're sugarcoating the taxi driver, taxi owner driver that has 20 taxis or 30, blesser. We're sugarcoating a rapist, blesser. And I'm thinking language in what we say has become such a powerful thing on media.
According to Brigadier Vishnu Naidoo, the National Police spokesperson, the normalization of the blesser is also a concern shared by the South African Police Force.
Initially, when there was publicity given around the extent at which the aspect of blessers has spread, people started to use this, the term blesser, as a joke in passage talk, in offices. But I think as time went on, and when, through various platforms, particularly your media platforms, especially social media platforms, people started to realize how serious this aspect of blessers, how serious it can become and what it could lead to.
Studies have shown that young girls who have access to social grants and small amounts of economic freedom are less likely to engage in risky sexual behavior, including transactional sex. This, together with education, is what the South African Police Service and activists like Shirley believe will tackle sexual exploitation in the country.
All I can say to most of our young girls is glamour doesn't just come from you having a blesser, or you having a sugar daddy, or you having that boyfriend that makes you do things that you don't want to do just because you need something. Education is very vital. That is why you need to go to school, educate yourself. because through education there is self-sustainability.